Hello and thank you for watching this very special video which we're going to get to really shortly. But before I start, I just wanted to tell you how this video came about. So I wanted to create a piece of content which was some really actionable advice about how to help people manage their life stress. So I thought, who better to talk to than my good friend and psychologist, Dr. Anna Pinkerton, who literally wrote the book on this. Her book is called Smile Again, and it's all about the recovery from burnout, breakdown, and overwhelming stress. So we jumped on a Skype call in order to plan out this piece of content. And some of the stuff that Anna was saying was just so good and so interesting. I decided to just record the call then and there and edit that down for you. So what I want you to bear in mind when you're watching this is that this was a conversation between two friends, and as a result, there's a little bit of swearing in there. Right, let's get on with the call. So for everybody watching this at home, Anna, can you just introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
It's funny because it's quite a tricky thing to kind of ring fence. But truly what I do is I work with incredibly driven, clever people who are working like crazy to get to the top of their game, whatever that is, but they can't enjoy it or they don't know what's happening to them. If we ignore what our system is telling us, early warning signs of burnout or stress, chronic stress, then the body or the mind will take you down. So people usually come to me when they have some symptoms, or somebody else often actually has noticed that they are not quite themselves, or something's going wrong in the business or their personal lives. And then they come to me and I can go, oh, there's this constellation of things. And it's trying to tell us there's a different way of looking after yourself. Because you can have your cake and eat it if you do it in a way that looks after you. So what we do is, what I help people with is, how do you rewire the brain to create a new operating system that's up to date and works for you now at the age of 35, 50, whatever, however old you are. And so the way that you do that is to build a companionable relationship with yourself. So I help them with that. And it's like you have to go through a whole process of building companionability so that you never can let yourself down ever again, and you never fall out with yourself. Because those two things are what burns people out. Those things are the things that create burnout, create issues around perhaps eating the foods that aren't good for you, doing the things, drinking too much alcohol, doing the things that bring you down. Is all down to inner brutality and relationship with self.
So how do we begin to start solving this problem?
Where I start is trying to help somebody understand that they have a limit. What I say to them is, look, it's not personal, it's neurological. See yourself as a circuit board. So if you take this person away from the system for the time, right? And lots of psychologists and psychotherapists will go, don't do that, don't depersonalize people. But it's really bloody helpful. Because if you take the person's psyche, their temperament and personality out of it for a short while so they can understand, they're not in self-blame and shame. So I say, look, if you see yourself as circuitry, all circuits can only take so much. If you keep filling it and extending it beyond its limits, it's going to burn, set into flames, or break down, or all of those. Yeah. Well, the other thing I say, and it sounds a bit shocking, is I share with them that nobody gets away with it. There is a consequence. Nobody living gets away with going beyond their limit consistently. And going beyond your limit, or up to your limit, let's say, should be episodal, because that's what the human system was kind of evolved to understand. And in this so-called modern age where we've become so civilized and industrialized, right, we've used that psychological knowledge and strength, if you like, to override that basic truth, which is we should have an episode of stress. I believe we should have an episode, however long, of convalescence. Now, that might only be 48 hours. Recalibrate, decompress a bit, bring the adrenaline, cortisol, and whatever else down that's coursing through the system.
Yeah.
So you're not scaring your system into hyper alert. Partly it's knowing what's going on, and then it's like, how do we not hold that against ourselves because we can't help the size of our circuitry, and then what do you do about it?
So what about all the self-care stuff that people do these days?
So the reason why self-care plans don't work, so the massage doesn't work, the meditation doesn't work, well, it doesn't take the issue away. What it does is it deals with the symptoms, because usually an exec is doing that to gain themselves more beyond their bandwidth. So rather than thinking, shit, I'm at my bandwidth and what I've got to do is something to gain more internal space, neurologically, physiologically, right? And psychologically. They're not used to that. They're used to going, oh, fucking hell, I can work to this level. What else am I capable of? The self-care is like the scaffolding. It holds the person trying to sustain an unsustainable amount that's going into the system, right? I just see the whole body, and I often say this with clients, look, see your mind and body as a system. Let's just call it system from now on. And that's what I say to them, like, if you're putting too much into the system, or the world is putting too much into the system, you're going to get some feedback about that. So self-care is often used to sustain something that's not sustainable. And so a client will come to me and go, fucking hell, I'm doing everything. I'm having the massage, I'm doing the meditation, I go to the gym, I eat well, I'm doing all of this. I'm bloody miserable still. And if I said to a client of mine who's already at their bandwidth, I want you to go for a massage, you should see their face. They like, oh, Jesus, it's another appointment I've got to find. They've got no bandwidth, no diary time to put in another thing. So sometimes I'll go, simplify. You're doing far too much in your self-care system. It's knackering you out. You've got 7 appointments per week in your diary that's supposed to be keeping you well. Take 5 of those out. The symptoms of burnout, the early warning signs, are saying you can't, you're at your limit. But we're so used to overriding those basic needs, particularly when we're driven and clever and capable. We see self-care as not caring for self, it's extending self some more. So it comes down to knowing what's happening really.
How do we go about solving this problem then? What is the solution?
I tell people, this sounds really bananas, they need to have some nothing very much time in their week. And this is very tricky because you've got intelligence, creativity, drive. Doing is the new sex, right? Doing is everything. Very few people who've got to the top of their game or trying to reach the top of their game do nothing very much. And it's really important. Because it's the most powerful self-care apparatus, if you like. And there's a lot of creativity comes out of nothing very much. So people fear it. They go, oh shit, somebody's going to prosper whilst I do nothing much. But actually, it's the opposite. If you keep going on the hamster wheel, people are going to prosper anyway, because you're overriding your system and numbing.
What is nothing very much? Is it sitting chilling on your phone, or is it watching TV, or is it reading a book, or what is nothing very much?
Nothing very much is actually almost no task whatsoever. So fannying about, pottering about. Okay.
No, I like it.
Yeah, that's what I do say this, right?
Yeah.
A bit of nothing very much is like.
I'm really good at that.
Yeah, I'm bloody excellent at it, I tell you. And it's really important because people go, oh, I can't waste half an hour. But the flip side of that is if you're getting close to your bandwidth, you can't afford not to do it either. So they go, oh, what did I do with that half an hour? I've wasted it. No, you haven't, because you've actually saved yourself from something that might take you 2 years or more to recover from.
My goodness, so all my procrastination has actually been about self-preservation.
Oh, procrastination is so important. It's a very creative process in actual fact. I don't believe in procrastination. I think it's bollocks. If I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. Fine, that's right. That's a procrastination, and being against oneself for that is another form of inner brutality, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah.
If I don't want to do it, that's okay. Will I get the rewards? Probably not. Do I care? I might not, but it's still my choice. If your goal is internal, what does it matter whether you do it or not? But it's another way that inner brutality plays out, and then it gets shared, particularly in the culture in the UK. Oh, they're not driven.
So getting back to the kind of practical side of things, so integrating nothing very much time.
Partially what you do with anything really is you share why. First of all, there's a consequence, but I don't really like frightening people going, oh, well, if you don't, then this. But actually, when did you last do nothing very much? Why don't you just experiment 10 minutes a day?
Yeah.
10 minutes a day where you haven't got your phone, your laptop, your phone, anything. You're just pottering, even if you're just pottering around the house, just like, oh, I'm just going to go into the kitchen and fanny around in there for a bit. Because I tell you what, when people are they're driven and trying to reach the top of their game, nobody else's, let's just say it's their game.
Yeah.
They can't invest in the nothing very much because they're afraid it will create their demise. Of course, it's the exact opposite. The nothing very much time is where you meet yourself. It's where you meet you and your feelings about your life, which is often why a lot of people within the brutality override that. They're like, fuck that, I'm not going to give any time to nothing much time because I might meet myself and I won't like what I find. Yeah. So it's scary for some because if it doesn't matter whether they're at the top of their game already and they've got a multi-million-pound company or they're as far as they wanted to go.
Yeah. Because
if they've got a lot of inner brutality, they can't enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
So nothing very much is scary to them. It's a tricky one, to be honest, Dan, because you've got to, on this kind of occasion, what you'd be doing is you'd be offering the concept. So you're sharing the task. I think it's a good idea for you to do 10 minutes of nothing very much per day, coupled with why. And then again, alongside that, you've got to have something that will shore them up. If you send somebody into nothing very much and they don't like what they find, they're going to ping straight out of it. So the shoring up is companionability to self, so that during nothing very much time, they can't fall out with themselves. On the whole, people won't nosedive.
Yeah.
It's not like mindfulness can make people nosedive, and that's why people have panic attacks during mindfulness sometimes. It's because they're told to be mindful, go into this state for 45 minutes, meet themselves, don't like what they find, and they're like, holy shit, I'm out of here. So in a way, it's not meditation. It's nothingness. It's just fannying about. It's very important when you're getting close to your bandwidth, because if you're a doer, you feel like you need to do something. Okay, do your filing then. Go and pull some weeds out of the garden. Ask yourself, what do I want in the next 3 minutes? Really, like, chunking it down.
Okay, so that's it for this call. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Anna Pinkerton for speaking to me. I hope you found that as interesting and as valuable as I did, and I hope you've got some actionable points to take away from it. I'm going to put all of Anna's details, her book, links out to her website and stuff in the description down below this video, so you can find out more about her there. I'd love to know what you thought of this video. Please drop me a comment down below to let me know, and I'll see you soon.